What are you waiting for? What's stopping you from building the willpower? You know you need to face life's challenges. Are you waiting for the perfect time? A burst of motivation? A new year? Be honest with yourself, because if you're like most people, you've probably been waiting longer than you'd like to admit. And here's the hard truth: the perfect moment doesn't exist. The longer you wait for it, the further you push away the strength you're capable of building. Because willpower, real unbreakable willpower, isn't something that comes to you in a flash of inspiration. It's something you build through small, steady acts of daily discipline. That's what we're going to explore together in this video. I'm here to help you stop waiting, stop hoping for the right time, and start creating the discipline that shapes true inner strength. And here's the best part. It doesn't take giant leaps. It doesn't take dramatic life changes. What it takes is small, intentional choices made every single day. Choices that over time forge a willpower that doesn't crack under pressure. You see, many people fall into the same trap. They think they need to feel motivated first. They think they need to clear their schedule, fix all their flaws, or find the magic routine. But none of that is necessary. What you need is to start today with something small enough that you can't talk yourself out of it. Maybe that's writing down one intention for the day. Maybe it's 3 deep breaths before your first sip of coffee. Maybe it's a quiet moment of reflection before the rush begins. These small actions are where real willpower is born. And the best part, you don't have to do it alone. In this video, I'll break down practical strategies, proven ways to build daily discipline, inspired by Stoic philosophy and supported by modern psychology. You'll walk away with clear, simple steps you can apply immediately, no matter how busy your life is. Before we dive in, do me a favor. If you're ready to stop waiting and start building that unbreakable willpower, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell. Because every week we explore the mindsets, habits, and small disciplines that help you master yourself in a world that constantly tries to pull you off track. Let's get honest for a moment. If building strong willpower and daily discipline were easy, we'd all have it. But the reality, most people struggle. And it's not because they're weak. It's not because they don't care or don't want it enough. It's because they fall into traps that almost guarantee failure, traps that you can learn to avoid starting right now. The first trap is one we've all faced: relying on motivation or inspiration to carry you through. Think about how many times you felt fired up to change something, maybe after reading a book, watching a powerful video, or hearing someone's success story. You feel unstoppable in that moment. This is it. I'm ready. I'm going to stick with it this time. But what happens when that spark fades? Because it always does. Motivation is like a wave. It rises high and then it crashes. And if you've built your discipline on that wave, you're left stranded when it recedes. That's why so many people start strong and then fall off. They thought willpower came from feeling inspired. But real willpower, it comes from systems, not from feelings. From small actions you do, even when you don't feel like it, especially when you don't feel like it. That brings us to the second trap: waiting for the perfect time. We tell ourselves stories: I'll start when work calms down, when I have more energy, after this stressful week. The problem: life doesn't hand out perfect windows for self-mastery. There will always be a reason to wait: a busy schedule, a family obligation, a global crisis. And so, we delay. We put off building the strength we know we need. But here's the hard truth: the perfect time doesn't exist. The only perfect time is the moment you choose to start right where you are with what you have. Let me ask you, and be honest with yourself. How many times have you delayed starting something that mattered because you were waiting for the right time? How did that work out? What would have happened if you had just begun imperfectly, instead of waiting for everything to align? These are the questions we have to ask if we're serious about building true willpower. And the third trap is this: lacking the systems that actually support discipline. Here's the reality: willpower alone isn't enough. No one, not even the most disciplined among us, has endless willpower on tap. What makes the difference isn't stronger will, it's stronger systems. That means building small habits that don't rely on you feeling motivated. That means tracking your progress, even if it's as simple as a check mark on a calendar. That means creating some kind of accountability, whether that's a friend you check in with, a group you share wins with, or even a simple note to yourself where you record what you did each day. Without these supports, it's like trying to build a house on sand. No wonder it doesn't last. But with them, suddenly discipline feels more doable. You're no longer trying to summon heroic willpower every day. You're following a plan that helps you stay steady, even when you're tired, stressed, or unmotivated. Let me share something from my own experience. For years, I thought I could build willpower by sheer force. I'd decide, from now on, I'm going to meditate every morning. I'm going to journal every night. I'm going to work out 5 days a week. And I'd do it for a little while. But when life got hectic, when I had a bad night's sleep or a tough day at work, I'd fall off. Why? Because I was depending on willpower. When I finally focused on systems, tiny habits, tracking accountability, everything changed. I didn't need to feel inspired. I just needed to follow the path I'd set up for myself. So let's break the cycle. Let's stop chasing motivation and start building systems. Let's stop waiting for the right time and start now with whatever small step you can take today. And let's stop trying to rely on sheer willpower and start supporting ourselves with real tools that work. In the next part of this video, we'll dive into exactly how to create those systems, small practical steps, to build daily discipline that actually lasts. But for now, I want you to reflect. Where in your life are you waiting? Where are you hoping for motivation instead of building a system? And what would change if today you chose to begin not perfectly, but consistently? So if motivation fades and waiting for the perfect time leads nowhere, what's the solution? Daily discipline, small, steady, intentional actions that you choose each day, no matter how you feel. Because here's a truth I want you to remember. Willpower isn't something you're born with. It's something you build. And the material you build it with tiny daily habits. Let's break this down. Think about a brick wall. No one builds a strong wall with one giant stone. They build it brick by brick, layer by layer. That's how unbreakable willpower works. And this isn't just a nice metaphor, it's backed by science. James Clear in Atomic Habits points out that if you improve by just 1% each day, you'll be 37 times better at the end of a year. Tiny improvements stack up. Tiny disciplines accumulate. And together they create strength you didn't know you had. So what does this look like in real life? It's simpler than you might think. It starts with micro habits, small actions so easy that you can't talk yourself out of doing them. For example, 5 minutes of journaling each morning. You don't need to write a novel. Just a few lines to set your intention, reflect on yesterday, or note something you're grateful for. This habit grounds you. It helps you face the day with clarity rather than chaos. 3 minutes of deep breathing. Before you open your laptop, before you check your email, pause. Close your eyes. Breathe slowly and deeply. 3 minutes. That's all it takes to calm your nervous system and choose your mindset for the day. No phone for the first 30 minutes of the morning. I won't sugarcoat it. This one is hard at first, but it's powerful. Instead of flooding your mind with other people's demands, bad news, and noise, you give yourself space to wake up on your own terms. And that space builds inner strength. Here's the magic of these habits. They're small, but they're intentional. You choose them, you follow through, and every time you do, you lay another brick in the wall of your willpower. Now, how do you make sure these micro habits actually happen? This is where another powerful concept comes in: habit stacking. Instead of trying to carve out extra time in your already busy day, attach a tiny habit to something you already do. Let's say you always make coffee in the morning. After you press that button or pour that cup, take 30 seconds to write down one thing you're grateful for. Or maybe after you brush your teeth, you stand still for one deep breath. The habit is more likely to stick because it's tied to a routine that's already automatic. Let me share an example from my own life. I struggled for years to stay consistent with journaling. I'd start with big plans. I'll write a full page every day. And of course, I'd fall off when life got busy. What finally worked? Telling myself just one sentence every morning right after I make coffee, and guess what? That one sentence usually turned into more, but even if it didn't, I kept the habit alive. The brick was laid, the wall kept rising, and this is how you build unbreakable willpower. Not with one grand gesture, not with a burst of inspiration, but with small, steady actions that you choose day after day. Actions that feel so doable you don't need to summon willpower to start, but that over time create willpower through consistency. So let me ask you, what's one micro habit you could start tomorrow? What's one action so small, so simple that you could commit to it even on your busiest, hardest days? Maybe it's that single sentence in a journal. Maybe it's 3 deep breaths before you open your inbox. Maybe it's leaving your phone untouched for 15 minutes while you enjoy your coffee. Choose it, stack it onto something you already do, and begin. In the next part of this video, we'll talk about how to stay consistent, how to track your habits, build accountability, and create systems that make discipline feel natural. But for now, remember this. Every small choice you make today is a brick in the wall of your strength tomorrow. So start building. One brick, one habit, one day at a time. So you've started, you've taken that first small step. Maybe it's a few minutes of journaling each morning, or 3 deep breaths before you start work, or keeping your phone away for the first 30 minutes of the day. That's powerful. But now comes the real challenge. How do you keep it going? Because building discipline isn't about what you do once or twice. It's about what you do over time, quietly, consistently, day after day. Let's break this down together. I want to give you 3 practical tools that can help you sustain your daily discipline, no matter how busy life gets. 1. Track your habits. Keep it visible. Keep it real. Here's a truth that might surprise you. What gets measured gets done. We think we'll remember if we've kept up with our habits. But life is noisy. Days blur together. Before you know it, you've skipped a few days and the habit starts to slip away. That's why tracking matters. And it doesn't have to be complicated. You can use a habit tracking app like Streaks Habitica or Done. Or go old school, print a calendar and give yourself a check mark for every day you complete your discipline. The magic is in seeing your progress. A row of check marks or a streak on an app gives you visual proof. I'm doing this. I'm showing up. And when you see that streak build, you'll be far less likely to break it. Because we don't like breaking chains we've worked to build. I've seen this in my own life. There were days I didn't feel like journaling or taking that mindful breath. But seeing that unbroken chain gave me just enough nudge to say, okay, just for today, I'll keep it going. And that's how habits stick, one small choice at a time. 2. Nahu. Don't go it alone. Build accountability that fits your life. There's something powerful about sharing your journey, even in small ways. Accountability isn't about pressure, it's about connection. When you know someone else is aware of your commitment, it changes how you show up. And this can be simple. You don't need a formal group or a coach. It could be texting a friend each morning, did my journal sentence. It could be a private Facebook group or a Discord channel where you share your wins and challenges. Or maybe it's just telling your partner at the end of the day, I kept my phone off for 30 minutes this morning. When you invite others into your commitment, even just a little, You tap into something deeper, the human need to belong to, keep promises not just to ourselves, but to each other. And that can make all the difference on the days your willpower runs low. Let me ask you, who could you invite to be part of your accountability? Who could cheer you on, remind you you're not alone, and help you stay steady when the habit feels hard? Think of one person right now, because together is stronger than alone. 3. Use the never zero rule. Something is always better than nothing. This might be the most important tool of all. We often fall into an all or nothing trap. If I can't do it perfectly today, I'll skip it and try again tomorrow. But that's how habits die. That's how discipline crumbles. The never zero rule flips that script. It says, even on your busiest, hardest days, do at least 1% of your habit. If you usually meditate for 5 minutes and today you only have 1 minute, take that 1 minute. If you usually journal half a page and today you only have time for 1 sentence, write that 1 sentence. If you can't do your full routine, do a tiny piece of it. Why? Because this keeps your habit alive. It tells your mind, I'm still the kind of person who shows up even when it's hard. And over time, these small efforts matter far more than the big gestures we make only once in a while. I've had days where all I could manage was 1 deep breath or scribbling a single word in my notebook, but I kept the habit going. And that's what builds unbreakable discipline, not perfection, but persistence. Final reflection. So let's bring it all together. Sustaining daily discipline isn't about superhuman willpower. It's about building systems that make success easier. It's about tracking your progress so you can see your growth. It's about inviting others into your journey so you feel supported. And it's about embracing never zero so you keep your promise to yourself, no matter how small the effort. I want to leave you with a question. What's one tool from this video that you'll try this week to keep your discipline alive? Will you start tracking, find an accountability partner, practice never zero? Share it in the comments, because saying it out loud is the first step to making it real. And if this resonated with you, if you're ready to keep building a life of clarity and strength through small daily choices, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell, and let's keep growing together. Sometimes the best way to understand the power of daily discipline is to see it in action, to look at how others across history and in modern life have used tiny daily habits to build unshakable willpower. So let's dive into some real-world examples that I hope will inspire you to start or strengthen your own practice today. First, Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor who chose daily reflection over chaos. Let's begin over 1,800 years ago with Marcus Aurelius, one of the most powerful leaders in history, a Roman emperor, commander of vast armies, ruler of millions. You'd think someone with that level of power wouldn't need daily discipline, but Marcus knew better. Each day he took time to journal his thoughts, to reflect, to strengthen his mind against the pressures and temptations of his position. His journal wasn't meant for anyone else. It was his way of training his will, a place where he reminded himself, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Even when facing wars, plagues, or political betrayal, Marcus built his unbreakable willpower, one quiet entry at a time. His example teaches us that no matter how busy or chaotic life gets, daily reflection gives you clarity and control. Ask yourself, what would change if you took even 5 minutes each morning to reflect? Like Marcus did, could those few minutes shift how you handle the challenges of your day too? Tim Ferriss, Modern Micro Habits for High Performance in a Fast World. Now let's jump to our time. Tim Ferriss, author of The 4-Hour Workweek and Tools of Titans, is known for his intense productivity and resilience in high-pressure environments. But here's what's surprising. His secret isn't grand routines or hours of effort. It's micro habits, tiny, repeatable actions that anchor his day and strengthen his willpower. For example, Tim starts his mornings with just a few minutes of journaling, sometimes simply writing down 3 things he's grateful for. He takes 3 deep breaths before opening his inbox. These habits sound small, almost too small to matter, but that's the point. Because they're small, he actually does them day after day, and over time they create stability, clarity, and strength that support his bigger goals. Here's a thought for you. What micro habit could you build into your mornings? 1 sentence of gratitude, 3 deep breaths. Small choices create big shifts. 3. Science speaks the measurable impact of micro habits. This isn't just philosophy or personal experience. Science backs it up. A study published in the Journal of Behavioral Science found that people who practiced micro habits daily for at least 21 days showed a 35% increase in self-control and significant reductions in stress. Let that sink in. Just small daily actions consistently done for 3 weeks can make you a third more effective at managing your impulses, your reactions, your choices. Think about what that means. Imagine having 35% more control when faced with frustration, temptation, or pressure. Imagine the ripple effect that could have on your relationships, your work, your peace of mind. And it all starts with tiny disciplines you can choose right now. Bringing it together is a common thread. So what do Marcus Aurelius, Tim Ferriss, and modern science all tell us? Willpower isn't a trait. It's a practice. It's something you build through small, intentional choices stacked up over time. It's not about waiting for motivation. It's not about finding extra hours in your day. It's about choosing the smallest possible action you can do consistently and then doing it. Maybe that's 1 line of reflection like Marcus. Maybe it's a 2-minute pause before your first task like Tim. Maybe it's simply choosing to start today with whatever micro habit feels doable for you. So I ask you, which of these examples speaks to you most? What small daily act could you begin starting tomorrow morning that would help you build your own unbreakable willpower? So let's bring this all together. If there's one thing I want you to take away from this video, it's this: willpower doesn't come from a sudden burst of motivation. It doesn't appear out of nowhere when you're inspired. Real, lasting willpower comes from small daily disciplines, the kind you choose on purpose again and again, until they become part of who you are. It's so easy to believe the story that we'll feel ready tomorrow or next week or after this busy season of life passes. But let's be honest, that perfect time we're waiting for never really comes. There's always another distraction, another challenge, another reason to delay, and so we wait, and nothing changes. But here's the truth that changes everything. You don't have to wait. You don't need perfect conditions. You don't need to overhaul your entire life. All you need is to begin, and begin small. 1 daily discipline, 1 intentional action, 1 moment where you choose to show up for yourself. That's how strength is built, not in the grand gestures, but in the quiet, steady choices no one else sees. Maybe today that looks like writing 1 sentence in a journal. Maybe it's taking 3 deep breaths before you check your email. Maybe it's putting your phone down for the first 10 minutes of your morning. Tiny actions. But when you repeat them day after day, they build the kind of willpower that carries you through life's storms. So I want to ask you, and I'd love for you to answer this in the comments, what daily discipline will you start today? What small choice can you make right now that your future self will thank you for? Go ahead, write it down. Because the act of saying it out loud, of sharing it with this community, is the first step toward making it real. And if you found value in this video, if you're ready to keep building your inner strength, 1 small habit at a time, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell icon, and join us on this journey. Every week I share practical tools and timeless wisdom on Stoic mindset self-mastery. and the habits that help you stay steady in an unpredictable world. Remember this, your willpower isn't waiting for you to find it. It's waiting for you to build it. And you can start today with one small intentional choice.